All right, so today we are going to talk about the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem says that if a triangle is a right triangle, then its sides satisfy the equation a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a and b are the legs, or the shorter sides, and c is the hypotenuse, or the longest side. So there are really, there are a few ways to use this. We're going to focus on two today, okay? So the first one is finding missing side length. So if we have a triangle, and it is a right triangle given by the little right angle symbol in the corner, and I know two of the sides. For example, I know that this side is 3 and this side is 4. I can use that to find the last side. Now we're going to make a note here that the hypotenuse, which is C, which is our longest side, does not touch the right angle. So that's a really easy way to always tell which side is C. Here's my right angle. This side of 4 touches it. This side of 3 touches it. So this is my last side. That's my hypotenuse. So it will have to be C. Okay? Now, which sides are A and B? It really doesn't matter. A could be 4 or A could be 3. As long as those two sides are A and B in some combination. So here we go. We set it up as a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So I'm going to use 3 as a and 4 as b. So that's 3 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 16. 9 plus 16 is 25. So 25 is equal to c squared. I take the square root of both sides, and I get that c is equal to plus or minus 5, but we know that a side cannot be a negative. We can't have a negative side length, so c is just 5 in this case. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do one where we are not finding our longest side. So let's say that I know the longest side is 13, and I know that this side is 12, and I want to find this other short side. Well, I just have to decide if I want that to be A or B. Doesn't matter. I'm going to make it A. So we again start a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I'm going to leave this as a squared. B squared is 12 squared. And c, which is my side that's not touching my right angle, is 13 squared. A squared is, a squared plus 144, which is 12 squared, equals 169. I subtract 144 this time. Then we get that a squared equals 25. Again, when we take the square root, we get a equals plus or minus 5, but we really know that we can't have that negative length, so a is just 5. Okay, that's the first use case. The second use case, we'll use a slightly different definition. It's kind of going to be backwards. Okay, so what we have is, if a triangle's sides satisfy the equation a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then it is a right triangle. Okay, and this kind of seems like we're saying the exact same thing, but we've really reversed it. So before we started with the assumption that this is a right triangle, now we end by saying it's a right triangle. So what will happen in these problems, this is use number 2, which is to check if it is a right triangle. So what we'll do is we will have a triangle and it will give us 3 sides. For example, let's say this side is 8, this side is 15, and this side is 17. We want to see, could this be a right triangle? Well, I know that C is my longest side, so that's 17. Whoops. And then these two are A and B, so it doesn't matter which is which, 8 squared and 15 squared. Okay? So 17 squared is 289. 15 squared is 225. 8 squared is 64. When we add these two together, we get 289 equals 289. So then we can say that yes, this is a right triangle because these are equal. Let's do an example of one where they are not. We'll just have a triangle that has side lengths of 1, 2, and 3. We would do the shorter sides, 1 squared and 2 equals the longer side, 3 squared. 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, and we get 5 equals 9, which is not true, so no, this is not a right triangle. And that is, for now, everything that we are going to talk about with the Pythagorean theorem. So hopefully the sub or whoever's in there has passed out the worksheets. It's 2 pages. The first page, front and back, is what we started with, finding the missing angle or missing side lengths, sorry. And then the second page, which is I think just a front, is check to see if it is a right triangle. You can use your calculator on this, but I want to see every step all the way through. All right, and I will see you guys on Monday.